What's up, y'all? My bad. Some technical difficulties, but we got everything settled and ready to go. Appreciate y'all tapping in as always. You know it's always love. Again, I appreciate y'all staying tapped in. My tardiness is it was just one of them things I couldn't excuse with some technical difficulties. We had to get everything right. So again, I apologize for my lateness. We're still gonna have a great show, and I hope y'all ready to tap in. Let's start the show officially. Y'all already know how we do. Let's get it right, get it nice. Yeah, 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 yes. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. What's good? What's good? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in each and every Wednesday, each and every Sunday. Again, I apologize for my lateness. Like I said, had some technical difficulties trying to work around YouTube, and some things on my end had to make sure that I had to make sure that we was good and right before we got on air. But thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. I seen y'all already tuning and tapping in, and again, I appreciate it. Each and every Wednesday, every Sunday, at normally at 10:30, but like I said, we are running late. Uh, I want to thank all my day ones from already tapping in. Got badge holders already in the building. So again, I appreciate y'all tuning and tapping in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I can't, like I said, we was running late, and I can't, again, I can't apologize enough for me being late. But let's have a great show. We're gonna have an amazing show. Episode 197. We're 3 episodes away from our big 200th episode. That's gonna be epic. That's gonna be fire. I've been getting some of the ideas that y'all sent me. Again, if you got great ideas, I will incorporate it for the 200th episode. I also have some special announcements for the 200th episode as well. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. And again, I want to thank y'all for supporting as always. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. So make sure y'all tune and check that out as well. I also want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP, Winners Loyalty. It continues to, climb, and because of y'all support, y'all been supporting it so heavy. If you haven't already, type in Ashley Lovechild on any music platform, and my new EP, Winners Loyalty, will pop up 6 songs of fire, especially for my hip hop lovers. So make sure tap into it if you haven't already, and thank the ones who already been supporting. Thank you. Also, we're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification bell because I do pop up throughout the week. We also have memberships in the bio as well. Different memberships do get granted different access. And we also have merchandise as well too. Continue to buy that merchandise if you go to 44.com through Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. You get 10% off on all merchandise if you use the promo code BrothersPod. So again, use that promo code BrothersPod. You get 10% off on everything in the store at 44.com in our store. So make sure y'all tune in for that as well. Yo, no further ado, let's get the show started. Now I'm gonna save that for the episode 200. But yeah, man, it's a lot of dope things that we got going on, and I can't wait for y'all to find out about this stuff because I've been working on this for a little while now, and I just, I'm so excited that it's finally getting closer and closer, and I can't wait to share the great news with y'all and the rest of the world. So It's gonna be fire, fire, fire. So again, thank y'all. Let me shout out to some of the people already in the chat, some of our day ones, some of our badge holders. If you got your badges, shout out to you because y'all granted more access than what other people is granted, and y'all take advantage of some of those things if you check out the actual badge placing. Shout out to Hazel in the building, Big Hazel. Make sure y'all tap into her new EP, Cover Girl. Make sure y'all tap into that as well. Shout out to Culture Talk. What up? Shout out to King P. You already know the vibes, man. Shout out to Winter. Appreciate y'all tapping in, man. So again, y'all been just absolutely amazing. Shout out to Paul in the building. We got Paul in the building. Appreciate you tapping in one of our other loyal people, always tapping in, showing major love, contributing to the chat and the conversation. Shout out to Ebony. They got Ebony in the building. Appreciate you tapping in as well. Another loyal, holding it down. And again, appreciate y'all tapping in these day ones, man. We appreciate that, you know. All right, y'all, let's get it started. I know, like I said, y'all, I know I was running a little late, but again, we still gonna have an outstanding show. So let's get it popping. All right. All right, y'all. First segment of the night. Y'all already know popular opinions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, as you see it right here. Yes. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire. So make sure y'all tune and tap in. Oh, see the boxes right here too. That also comes in special packages. So when you get orders, the box come with it when you get special orders, and it has the label Creed and all that. So, you know, it's kind of fancy, you know? So make sure y'all tap in and y'all get y'all money's worth. So, all right, y'all. First segment of the night, popular opinion. Y'all know how this goes. These are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. First question of the night. Best movie robbers on this list. Best movie robbers on this list. Number 1, Hans Gruber from Die Hard. Number 2, the girls from Set It Off and Set It Off. Number 3, the Wet Bandits in Home Alone 2. And number 4, Robin Hood and Robin Hood. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to KL in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit them 100s. Hit them likes. Hit them 100s. Appreciate y'all. It helps with the growth of the show. Shout out to Larry L in the building. Shout out to Ashley in the building. Oh, we got the same name. Okay. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? We got the same name. Yeah, shout out to Larry L. Okay. Shout out to KL. Okay. So we got a couple of stains in here. People trying to stand out for trying to I don't know what they trying to do, but it's not working out. But appreciate y'all tapping in, hit them likes, hit them 100s while you here, while you trying to troll. So, you know, hey twin, you feel me? You feel me? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? We twinning up in here. I love that. You know what's crazy? Once I've only had one experience in my life where I dated another Ashley, and it was the funniest thing in the world, especially when it came to her parents. Super funny. So I'm like, damn, yo, like God forbid if we was like this was back in we ain't married now. Obviously, I'm not married, but if we was to ever if we would have got married, right? Look how crazy that wedding would have looked like. Congratulations to Ashley and Ashley Johnson. Like that's crazy, right? That's wild. But yeah, nah, you know what I'm saying? Got the twin in the building. That's what's up. All right, y'all. So I'm seeing Set It Off. I'm seeing Robin Hood. I'm seeing the chat. Y'all giving me mixed answers, which is nothing wrong with that. I love the diversity in the answers. Um, I'm seeing Set It Off. Chose Set It Off. Okay, I'm seeing Set It Off. Okay. So I'm seeing the diversity in the answers. I'm seeing Die Hard. I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing a little bit of everything. So nobody chose. The only people I didn't see chose was the Wet Bandits from Home Alone 2. That's the only thing I haven't seen chose. The Wet Bandits was popping, y'all. I think y'all sleeping on the Wet Bandits. You know what I'm saying? They breaking your crib, they steal your goods, and then they leave all the water in the house running. That's some jerk BS to do, right? Like, all right, you stole my stuff. Now you leaving me with water damage on top of that. Like, so now I get it. Now I see why y'all went and go with the wet bandits. But they was funny though in Home Alone too. But the rest of these, Hans Gruber was top tier robber. Set It Off. The Set It Off girls had so much flair and flavor. Doing it. The Hood way, and Robin Hood. Come on, like, he a classic thief. Me personally, I probably go with the Set It Off girls. The only real time they really messed up is when they took the money to their job and tried to hide the money in events. That's the only time they messed up. And people like, yo, where else they was supposed to hide the money? Yo, there's other locations that they worked at that they could have hid the money at. So that's just me. That's just me. But that's the only time they really messed up. Other than that, they was Gucci. They was Gucci. And they should have upgraded the facial gear in the first couple robberies, but they didn't have the money to even get like proper masks. They was really struggling for real. So, but yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Set It Off girls. The chat, I'm seeing Set It Off. I seen Hans Gruber, and I seen Robin Hood in the chat. The rest of the world at 39%. Mind you, over 12,000 people voted on this. 12,000. The rest of the world, 39% went with Robin Hood. Again, I'm not surprised at Robin Hood because, again, in each Robin Hood movies, from the one from the 90s, the early 2000s, and one from like 2015, 16, something like that with Jamie Foxx, which was very underrated, by the way. Again, Robin Hood whole theme is he rob from the rich and give to the poor, which is a whole lot better than how we live today because you have the poor robbing the poor, which makes no sense to me. But I get it. Robin Hood, he robbed the rich and gave to the poor, and not he didn't rob people with money. He robbed people that had disgusting money, that had the type of money if they missed 500,000 in a day, it's like, hold on. They took what? They only mad because they don't want it to continue to happen. They don't really miss the 500,000, like, which is crazy. They only do it like they only showing strength just because they don't want to make it seem like they sweet. So I get it. So I can see that Robin Hood, and it was a close race too, 39%, which was close. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. And remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. All right, which animal is likely to attack humans? Which animal is likely to attack humans? Number one, a tiger. Number two, alligator. Number three, a polar bear. Number four, leopards. I'm sorry. Leopards. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, which animal is most likely to attack a human? Number one, tiger. Number two, alligator. Number three, polar bear. Number four, leopards. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Or leopard. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Okay, I'm seeing the tiger, seeing the alligator. Okay. Truth be told, all four of these will attack the shit out you. Truth be told. Like, I did some research when I even seen this question. Truth be told, all these animals don't like humans like that. And come to find out, all these animals, for real, would rather attack humans mainly because they think we like an easier feat. Like, oh, they fool. Like, they not as strong as us, quick as us, which is logical, which we're not as far as another tiger or whatever. So it's like, yo, they can't get busy like we get busy, baby. So we're food. So basically, that's how they look at us. So all of these will attack you, but more so than others. Leopards, they will get at you. Me personally, I'm going to choose leopard because I've seen leopards get other animals, take them into the tree, and just bone dry them Jones. You know what I'm saying? Alligators for sure. Polar bears for sure. I was surprised by the tiger. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised by the tigers. But at 59%, mind you, over 5,000 people voted on this. The chat, I'm seeing all types of answers, whether it's alligator or tiger. I did see leopards as well. I being B Quate. I'm from Brooklyn too. I'm from Brooklyn too, Ashley. I'm from Brooklyn, so we from the same spot and we got the same name. How lit is that? How lit is that? That's super lit. You know what I'm saying? All right, so again, I went with leopards. The chat, y'all was at tigers, alligators. Some of y'all went with leopards as well at 59%. The rest of the world went with polar bears. Polar bears. The research I did, I came up on polar bears. Polar bears is, yo, if they see humans out and about and you don't got no get right, and what I mean by some get right, if you next to a polar bear and you're a human, you need to have you a few gats, shotguns, AR-15, all types of assault. You need some work on you. You need some get right. If you don't got that get right on you, a polar bear will not hesitate to attack and eat you. Simple and plain. So again, I'm from Brooklyn, so I don't see no polar bears. Even though I moved, I live in Florida now. Ain't no polar bears coming to Florida. You know what I'm saying? They don't want this heat. You feel me? So I don't gotta worry about nothing about no polar bears. Alligators though, alligators though, do be out. They be out here. But the beautiful thing about living in Florida is that we got some get right. Everybody got some get right. It's either locked in your car, locked in your home. We got some get right. So if a alligator pop out, we could pop out. If you call it pop pop. So all right. So again, the rest of the world went with polar bears at 59%. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know Hollywood Need to Ask Us came up with the segment because Hollywood just don't give us enough great movies. No intrigue, no type of like real messaging. They just throw it out there and see what happens. So I got better ideas for a movie or a movie series. My Hollywood Need to Ask Us, I would like to see a movie based on distractions. I know, right? That sounds crazy as it is. I would love to see a movie based on distractions and the hidden messages about distractions because other and bigger things are happening right in front of us, and because of the famous distraction makes it easier for us to overlook things that we don't see. So I would love to see a movie based on that theme and premise alone. They can even make it an 8 episode or 10 episode movie series. I'll be cool with that as well. But I would love to see something that's strictly focused on big things are happening and they have like these hidden messages and these distractions that we easily get distracted by. Like for example, if the U.S. had to pass transport a substance that can negatively affect the human race, but the only way they could transport it quickly and effectively is by air. But there's a slight chance that some of the substances might break loose. So when they break loose, they're not going to break that story. What they will make sure that's on the algorithm is that Cardi B got pregnant by Stephon Diggs. And that's the distraction right there. So I would love to see a movie based on that premise. I will have this as a sci-fi drama, rated R. My casting director will be George Walken. He's a really great casting director. And my director of this will be Ridley Scott. For those who don't know who Ridley Scott, he's known for doing like the alien movies and shows. So I will have him direct this. So I think this would be absolutely fire. And this is what I would love to see. And if y'all haven't seen Alien too, if y'all haven't seen Alien, the series, the movie series, because it's a must-see. It is a must-see, I must say. I'm on episode 7. I'm about to watch episode 8 tomorrow. I'm excited to see episode 8. Like, it's really, really good. That show was so good, and I call it a movie series because it's very long as an episode, and they giving us movie quality production in the storyline and how it looks, the cinematography, the whole 9 yards into a show. And it's only eight, and it's not only, but it's 8 episodes. So we're basically getting like 2 movies in one in the Alien series. And this Alien series is just as good as the movies, to be honest with you. So I think this is absolutely fire. But that's my Hollywood Need to Ask Us. I think that will absolutely be fire. And the movie in itself, based on that casting director, he has history on casting great actors, and he keeps it very diverse and he keeps it very fresh, so it won't feel dry. So I think that will absolutely be fire. Shout out to Thomas in the building, appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Ebony in the building, appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Coco in the building, appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, appreciate the love. It helps with the growth of the show. If this is your first time watching, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast? And again, I am Ashley Lovechild. Yes, guys' names are Ashley as well. Yes, yes. So again, thank you for tuning and tapping in. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. I'm going to give y'all 3 must-see movies. Y'all know I do this every episode. This is episode 197. So for 197th episode, I'm going to give y'all some more fire movies that y'all probably never heard of. So, and I pride myself because I'm a movie buff, right? So my number 1 must-see movie, this movie came out in 1995, directed by David Wiles. This movie stars, this is a great cast, Michael Madsen, Jennifer Tilly, Gary Busey, Roger LaGala, Bill Cobbs, and Ian Tracy. This is an all-star cast right here. This movie is called A Man with a Gun. Fire must-see movie about a hitman that he's been hired to take out his girlfriend, and his girlfriend had to watch the rest of the movie. I won't spoil it for y'all, so make sure y'all tap in to see A Man with a Gun. Second must-see movie came out in 1989. I know that sounds forever ago, right? But it still holds up, and it's still great quality. 1989, directed by Philip Noyce. This movie stars Nicole Kidman, Billy Zahn, Sam Neill, Joshua Tilden, and Rob Melinar. This movie is called Dead Calm. Fire movie. Fire movie. Y'all probably know Sam Neill, probably most famous for playing in the Jurassic Park movies. Y'all know Billy Zahn. As soon as y'all see him, and y'all know who Nicole Kidman is. This movie is absolutely flawless. This movie is about a couple who end up losing their son in a terrible accident. They plan to take a trip, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for you. I won't spoil it, so make sure you tap in to see Dead Calm. My third and final must-see movie came out in 2011, directed by Morbith Gungu. This movie stars Dennis Quaid, Amy Teagan, Tony Oliver, Stephen Ford, Brett Colin, Dahlia Wingort, and Devon Winhire. This movie is called Beneath the Darkness. And again, this came out in 2011. And again, it's called Beneath the Darkness. Fire movie. Flawless movies, y'all. I'm telling y'all. This is about a group of high school kids. One of the kids actually end up seeing something he wasn't supposed to see. And then you have to watch the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. So again, make sure y'all tap in to see Beneath the Darkness. Fire movie. So again, my 3 must-see movies again is Beneath the Darkness, Dead Calm, and A Man with a Gun. Make sure y'all tap into those movies. I guarantee great time. And it's Wednesday night too. You got the rest of the week to watch these fire movies. So make sure y'all tap in. A shout out to Larry M in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You trying to stand out for being a stain. Like, only people that try to throw dirt on other people, and you're wrong, by the way, try to throw dirt on people by standing out, by saying negative things, all you doing is projecting energy that you don't control your life in real life, bro. Because you're looking for a safe place to release all that negative energy. So again, my heart goes out to you, and spewing negative things and untrue things. Again, God is with you, my brother. So yeah, man, I don't know what you felt like you was trying to accomplish, but yo, God bless you, man. If that's the way you feel, but that just lets me know your weakness. So God bless you, my friend. Moving on. Make sure y'all tap into this artist. I give y'all 3 must hear songs each and every time from profile artists. I profile our artists each and every episode if this is your first time watching. My artist tonight, R&B. It's R&B because I know I get either do R&B or hip hop, whether it's new or old. I'm gonna just give y'all something fire, right? So my R&B artist profile tonight, make sure y'all tap into the legendary SWV. Put these 3 songs on your playlist. Number 1, Downtown. It's a fire song. It's a classic, and it's still gold. For those who know what I'm talking about. Number 2, Rain. It's a lot of symbolism in the song Rain. Okay, listen to that song carefully, and you know it's about to change the mood up. And number 3, Anything. Fire song. And I'm talking about the slow version, not the fast version that's on Above the Rim. The slow version that's on the Week album, if I'm not mistaken. Anything on that album. Fire song. So again, put these 3 songs on your playlist by SWV. Downtown, Rain, and Anything. So make sure y'all put those 3 songs on y'all playlist. Guaranteed good time, and you won't be disappointed. All right, y'all, moving on to a must-read books. And shout out to Larry. He needs some books that he must read. He talk about fake it till you make it, bigs up. I don't know, like, I don't understand people who really hate on other people. Because, again, by me having real things, drive nice cars, live in a nice place, what do that do for you? What do it do if I came on here like really showcasing anything? What do it do for you? Like, how do you feel trying to call something out that's not true? You feel stupid. You don't even know what's real and what's not real because you're so used to not even knowing what's what. So shout out to you. You probably still live at home. You probably still live with your mom or maybe your dad. Who knows? You probably have a roommate. You probably don't even claim yourself on your own taxes. This is the only place you feel some sort of control, so you try to release that. So you fake it till you make it, my brother. Big up to you, because that's what you're doing. It's not hurting me over here. You feel me? So say what you want, bro. And according and what LeBron said the other day too, I feel you, bro. IRS watching what he said. Even though it's not true, but what he said. I feel you, bro. I already know I could take your girl in real life, but shout out to Larry. Like, your name is Larry, bro. Like, come on, what are we talking about? Ain't nothing fly about that at all. Larry. You know what I'm saying? At least when women say my name, they smile. Like, that's crazy. Like, shout out to Larry, though. You know what I mean? Shout out to Larry. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. You know, I'm going to give y'all some dope books to read. For this episode, must read America's Hidden History. Again, America's Hidden History. This book is by Kenneth C.C. Davis, and this is a must-read book. Must read, must tap into this book, because at the end of the day, you have to know your history. But also, when you read books like this, a lot of these books have double meaning. So you have to use this book as a template to go look at what's going on. Don't just Google it. Google AI is not real research. You have to look at multiple sources, but this is a good book to start from to even source any type of real things that happen throughout the country, and you have to basically read into what's going on in that book, but they reveal a lot of things that really happen. So again, it's a must read, America's Hidden History by Kenneth C.C. Davis. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, send them to turkey or nah, send them to turkey or nah. Y'all already know how we do this. When people act up, we send them to turkey. It became an inside joke on the show when people just do stupid stuff because Turkey has some of the craziest laws in the world. I covered, something that happened to a young man that was looking like backdoor activity. In Turkey, they put him in jail for months for that. They could just jail you for that. So it became an inside joke on the show that we send people to Turkey because they just on BS. So, all right, y'all. First one of the night, send them to turkey or not. You already know, type in T to send them to turkey. Type in N not to send them to turkey. Number one, Steve Harvey says your father is the only man he's the only man that wants you to be better than him. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Are we sending Steve Harvey to Turkey because of that statement, or we not sending him to Turkey? Remember, type in T to send him to Turkey. Type in N not to send him to Turkey. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, Steve Harvey says your father is the only man that wants you to be a better man than him. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So the chat, I'm seeing Turkey. Y'all sending him to Turkey. Shout out to Christopher Rivera. Well, R.I.P. to Christopher Rivera. I believe that's his daughter. Type it in, cause she had revealed last episode that Christopher passed away. So shout out to the daughter. Appreciate you tapping in as well. But yes, Steve Harvey says your father is the only man that wants you to be a better man than him. Yes, it's Maria. Okay, yes, Maria. Yes, again, thank you for tuning and tapping in. Appreciate you. But I'm seeing sending him to Turkey. Okay, me personally, when I think about in the sense of how he said it, because he's basically saying, this is the only man that you ever meet that wants you to be a better man than him. Technically, I can't send him to Turkey, technically. Because me personally, I didn't grow up with my grandfather. Neither one of them. One of my grandfathers was gone before I was alive, and my other grandfather, he was a diabetic, and he lived in D.C. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I don't even really have a real genuine moment with my grandfather. Like, I can't tell y'all like, yo, me and my grandfather went fishing one time. We did this. He was, a sick man, and he ain't had no time for no kids, baby. You know what I'm saying? By the time I was a little guy, he was like in his late 60s, early 70s. And back then, early 70s was like damn near like 80, 90. Like, that's how they carried it back then. So I don't even remember that moment with my grandfather. I don't know, some of us have siblings. I did grow up with my brother. Y'all probably see him right there. Rest in peace to my brother as well. And we was like this. I would say he wanted me to be a better man than him. I would say my dad definitely wanted me to be a better man than he was. He raised me to be the man he wanted to be, not the man that he was. So I always found that quite interesting. So the statement in itself with Steve Harvey, he's saying, your father is the only man that wants you to be a better man than him. I can't send him to Turkey because if I had a son, but I have a daughter, but if I had a son, I would want him to be a better man than me in every single way. I want him to be smarter. I want him to be stronger emotionally. I want him to be better financially. I want him to be able to build on the things that I started, take it to a whole nother level, or do what he does and just use my vehicle as a starting point instead of starting at zero. So that's how I look at that. I want him to be a better man in every single way that's positive. I don't want him to have I don't even want him to be a little cray-cray, because I'm a little cray-cray. I could crash out a little bit. I don't even want him to have that. A touch of the street in him, but I don't want him to be too, Feel me? That's what I'm saying? But I would want him to be a better version, not even a better version of me, but just a better man, period. I want him to be his own man, but a better man for sure. So there's something to say about that. Now, if most people have older siblings, uncles, grandfathers, then I can see that your father is not the only man that wanted that. Now, some fathers also carry a competitive spirit. Like even my dad, me and my dad had more like big brother, little brother relationships. So he always carried a competitive spirit too. Like if I did something, dope, he like, oh, all right, so now I'm gonna go do something dope. If he buy a nice car, and then when I go buy a nice car, he's like, oh, you got that car? Like, oh, you could have got this one instead of that. Like it was always like a little bit of that competitive. So it everybody's story is different, but I would think that my father raised me to be the man that he wanted to be and not the man that he was. So I think my father wanted me to be a better version of him or just be a better man. I think that in my heart of hearts. Is he the last man to like, yo, I want him to be better than me? I don't know. I don't know. But I have uncles, I do have older male figures that's been a part of my life that always wanted me to be great and outstanding. So yeah, my dad raised me on so many levels, taught me how to work on cars and all kinds of stuff. I'm a nurse practitioner because of my father. That's lit. I have two educations, one on the streets and one in the classroom. That's a fact. I love that because of my father. That's lit. That's lit. See, that's lit. That's lit. See, even with me, right? I have a daughter, right? And her demeanor is a lot like mine. But she's her own person. She has her own personality and things like that. But it's weird that the firstborn daughter personality may not be the exact same as dad, but it mirrors dad. You know what I mean? Like my daughter do have a little bit of that, a little Brooklyn in her. She got that energy. She carried that, but she also like sneaky quiet. So so I get that. I get that absolutely. That's lit. That is lit. So yeah, I can't send them to Turkey based on that. I think most dads again want their sons to be either a better version of them or a better man than them. Me personally, if I had a son, I want him to be head and shoulders better than me in every single way. So, and even though that's gonna come with some sort of kickback, I'm still gonna have to let him know who's boss. But I still want him to be a better man than me. Uh, I'm from I'm 100% from my dad's. It's the Puerto Rican in the U.S. Okay, okay, that's what's up. That's lit. Okay, okay, okay. PR. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next. Send them to Turkey or not. Uh, I don't know if y'all remember this name, Jack the Ripper. Okay, he was famous like way back in the day, mainly because he was going around murdering people. And they never found out who he was until recently. Jack the Ripper is finally identified as Aaron Kaminsky after 137 years of not knowing. Mind you, Aaron Kaminsky died in 1919. And for a long time. So this is going back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he was murdering women. Like it was so crazy that like you see a lot of these movies about Jack the Ripper and about serial murderers because of this particular guy. This is where all that stuff comes from. This is where Hollywood got the inspiration of Jack the Ripper. When you see somebody murdering women or murdering just people or whatever, it comes from Jack the Ripper, the story. So all these years, they finally found out who it was, and that was basically because a lady he murdered, obviously around that time, had some sort of garment that had her blood. And you have people that do buy things, antique things, and the person that bought that antique blood had a mix of hers and his blood on this scarf, and basically the people at that time said he was very sick, a very sick individual, so they tied the two together, and it's Aaron Kaminsky. Me personally, I'm gonna send this to Turkey still. I'm gonna send this to Turkey. It's 137 years later. It's 137 years later. Okay, so all the women that was murdered, I'm pretty sure they had some sort of family. Can you trace their roots, their heritage, their who they are, or their family lineage in today's society, and can they get paid? Can they get paid? I'm just saying. Because you mean to tell me with all those women he had to murder mothers, sisters, uh, cousins, daughters, like I'm pretty sure there's remnants of somebody's family still living today. If not many of these people or many of these women's families still living today, and okay, y'all uncovered the murderer. Okay, cool. Now what? What do that do for that family? So at the end of the day, I'm sending this all the way to Turkey, because you're not coming up with any resolution to really give some sort of unrest. Like at the end of the day, this man is famous for murdering my sibling 100 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever the case may be. All right, cool. Now what? Now what? We in 2025. Now what? I'm the great great grandson of this lady that was murdered. That was my aunt. That was my mom. That was my grandma. Like so I mean, at this point we're talking about a whole bunch of grands or greats, but y'all get the point that I'm making. So I'm sending this to Turkey. I think this is Turkey status all day. Me personally. Me personally. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to wrap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night. Tom Brady inks a $75 million deal for flag football in Saudi Arabia. Wow, that's a lot of money. So I guess the prince from Saudi Arabia is going to pay Tom Brady $75 million to play in a flag football game that they have in March the 26th of next year in Saudi Arabia. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, like I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like $75 million in the US, it's a ridiculous amount of money. That's lifetime money. You would never go broke with $75 million ever if you spend it right. You could go broke by doing dumb stuff. You could go broke by living in New York, living in California, and doing the dumbest things and not recouping any money. You can lose it if your budget every night is basically $1 million. You go out, you club, you buy all the bottles, or you rent out the club. You're paying celebrities to come mess with you. Yeah, that's gonna run for about a good solid 8-9 years. Then you'll be broke. Yeah, we see basketball players do it all the time, right? But $75 million is literally meant in any state in this country for you to set up not just your life, but your children's children and their children if you do it properly. And I'm not talking about just being practical, because if you're just going to be practical, then that money should last several lineages down the line. I'm talking about being smart. $75 million, when most people don't realize in this country, money is meant to make money. And most of us is taught that money is to be spent and it's taught to be spent on things that we want, when it's supposed to be spent on things that we need, which is more money. That's what money needs. That's what money is supposed to be spent on, is more money. But again, we have this mentality, especially if you're from, urban community where we covered vanity. And we like, yo, if I got this amount of money, yo, I'm gonna go get me something nice, nice clothes, a car, jewelry, whatever the case may be. We're gonna go get something nice. We're gonna go to the movies. We're gonna go do something with our hard-earned money instead of spending it on making more money. That's why a lot of people that are rich, they in the business of money. They're in the business of money. Most people who are rich, if you really think about it, when they live in big houses and things like that, you're like, damn, how do you really get rich? They tell you about the hard work that they put in, right? But they don't tell you about the real equation that it took, and they focused on money, meaning making their money make more money. And it's a simple equation if you really pay attention to it. So at the end of the day, Tom Brady getting $75 million for playing in a flag football game in Saudi Arabia is lovely. I love it. But honestly, I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. Do they really got that type of money for real? Like it sound good, and like real talk, if somebody say, yo, he about to get paid $75 million, if you really wasn't going to get paid $75 million, you're not correcting the story for real, for real. Even if they say, well, we're not going to pay you 75, we're going to pay you 20. That's still solid money right there. And that's just the headline, 75. Oh, so he rich. So again, the prestige and the accolades of that comes with the proposal of being rich, and that takes on a whole nother energy in itself. Because honestly, you don't see Tom Brady at your local clubs and, him burning $100 bills or just doing anything that shows lack of class of money. So him getting $75 million an out, we won't know for sure anyway, because he already made that type of money already playing in the NFL. Even if he didn't make 75 mil, he made millions. So again, what can he buy with 75 million that he doesn't have enough to buy now? So we would never know. So that's why I question the fact, do people from Saudi Arabia and these countries, do they really have this money on like that? Because I found out Qatar is actually the richest country in the world, the country of Qatar, where they said the average person in Qatar makes over $125,000 a year. The average, y'all. The average person makes $125,000 a year. 20% of our population in this country don't make $120,000 a year. So I really question the fact, do they for real got all this money on? Like I won't believe it until they like, yo, Ash, we want you to come perform out here in Saudi Arabia and we got some money for you. Nah, 75 mil, I know that's not for me. I would love 75 mil, and I'm shooting for that. I keep working hard and building up and doing what I love doing. I love podcasting. So it's not about the money. I just have a passion for it. And I love talking to y'all, right? But if they like, yo, we got 75 million for real, I'm going to come through like, all right, I won't believe it until they sign that check and I see it. Even if they like, yo, we got 3 million for you, I won't believe they got 3 million until I see it. And I could take it and cash it and leave with it. I won't believe it. I'm just saying. I won't believe it. So I question, do these people have that type of money for real? Even though the average person in Qatar makes $125,000. I want to see it. I want to see it. Because if the average, the average person in this country makes about, I would say the average person in this country makes about anywhere from 55 to maybe 60 grand a year. I could be a little high on that. I could be a little high. So imagine that, right? If the average person makes about 50 to 60 grand and over there they make about 125. Mind you, cost of living, right? Their cost of living works in reverse for them. So if you're from Qatar and you're from that area, you benefit, meaning that you don't live in a high cost of living. So education is free in Qatar. When you go to college, but if you move there as an American, if I move there, I gotta pay top dollar to go to college in Qatar. Like, so that's how they do it. If you're not born from there and you go there to build your business, you can, but you paying top dollar. But if you're born from there, you're from the land, you have lineage, your family's from here, then you get access of different type of course breaks in Qatar, which is part of the reason why people got that money on out there. So can you imagine that if that was the case in America, in our country? Like, that would be super duper sweet. So it's a lot of things that other countries do and benefit of their citizens that the U.S. need to get on board, man. If you for us, show us you for us. Uh, Shout out to Passport Pookie. Oh, that's a wild name. Why you dressed like you in '92? Come on, bro. Stop it, man. Stop it, bro. It's so weird when I see other men try to question other men clothes. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking? You're a weirdo, bro. You're a weirdo, bro. Stop. 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 That's crazy. That's crazy. Again, when dudes try to crack jokes, I love good jokes. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm not sensitive when it comes to jokes, so I spit them back at you. I love good jokes, but these jokes be trash, and then when you're not joking, it makes it even worse. And he follows up with another terrible one, bro. Yo, just hit the like button, hit the 100s. What Martin say in Bad Boys? Just get a Coke and a smile. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just grab a Coke and a smile. Just chill. You know what I'm saying? Parlay in the back, hit the likes, hit the 100s. We appreciate you being here. My family, I would like for you to come to my dad's funeral. You were so respectful to him. I appreciate that. If you're in the Florida area, I may be able to work something out. If you're in New York City, I don't live in New York City right now, so it's going to be kind of hard for me to pop out immediately, to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you something to just to tell you. Like, I won't tell people something that I won't do or that I can't do. So I will be honest in saying that if it's in the Florida area where I'm located nearby, I definitely will pop up and show love. We're in Tampa. Ooh, that's not too far. That's not too far, but I would like to see some more added information and things of that nature, and also it depends what day it is too. So, but that's not too far, but but shout out to you. I appreciate that. But let me know. Let me know. Give me a chance to try to come. If I can't, I will be honest and say I can't make it. I will be honest in saying that. Yeah. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next one. Next hot topic. Crisp ends HIV permanently. The new crisp theory, developed a strand that removes HIV DNA from infected people, from the human cells, and it stops the virus from returning. When the doctor spoke on this, as far as this was breaking news. When the doctor spoke on it, he said, in particular, people have to continue to take the medication, so that way it prevents any reoccurrence of the HIV virus even coming back. So again, they created a theory or theorem that helps removes HIV permanently, and it attacks these cells, because he also alluded to that when people get HIV, these particular cells attacks your cell, kills the cell, and that's how it takes over your body. So this particular theorem attacks those cells back and kills those cells from returning. So I thought this was absolutely amazing to hear because we're living in a country where people are getting overran by viruses, whether it's HIV, whether it's chlamydia, whether it's oh my God, whether it's herpes, and come to find out, 1 out of 2 adults in this country carries herpes. That's a lot of people. And there's a lot of sex going on. And let's keep it real. Most people are not protecting themselves. Let's keep it real. And with something like herpes, that's still very tricky in itself. So you have to do the research on herpes in itself. You have to do research on chlamydia in itself. You have to do research on HIV in itself. So the fact that they developed this strand of Durham to remove or HIV, it's only a matter of time they find something for herpes in other viruses. So again, I think this is huge in the game of medical research, because for years, we see this thing getting worse and worse. I remember my father telling me about a time where back in the 50s, in the 60s, it was just, a thing where the adults, they got it popping and condoms wasn't at the party. Like it was free love. And there was no real worry of herpes and HIV back then. But now when we get into the 70s and the 80s, and you see, and I'm not blaming it on I'm telling you what happened. When we seen in the 70s an outpour of men on men, women on women. Again, I'm not blaming it on backdoor activities on the rainbow community, but this is what happened, right? And we've seen it more out and prevalent ever before because it developed a new strand. When you have behavior, it develops a new strand. And when you have men sleeping with men and still sleeping with women, it carries a different strand in the body. This is just biology. So at the end of the day, from there, we've seen HIV, herpes, and all these other diseases take an uptick. Now, in today's world, do people that have HIV and have herpes, are they from the rainbow community? Obviously not. It's still people from the rainbow community catching it, and people in the straight world is catching it just by having regular love. So at the end of the day, this disease no sexual orientation. It knows no race, creed. It attacks everybody in their behavior in sex. So protect yourself. Learn the information that you need to learn, because you can still have a healthy life. Just do the research. So again, the fact that the research has detected that HIV can be removed from your body is an uptick in the human race, especially in our country, because you hear places like Houston. Houston is not far away. Places like Atlanta, Mississippi. These are hotbeds for HIV. Hotbeds. They have some of the highest rates of this. So again, we saving a lot of our people by them coming up with theorem that removes HIV from your DNA, from the human cells, and it stops the virus from even returning. So it's only a matter of time that they find these strands and these serums for other viruses altogether. So shout out to these hard-working medical researchers who's doing the job and putting the time that they putting in, because again, this is going to save a lot of people. This is going to save a lot of lives. If I just told you 1 out of 2 adults in this country in the U.S. carries herpes, that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. So you have to do your research based on these strands. Knowing people's sexual history matters. I don't know what it is about sex that we like. The weird thing about sex, people love to have it, but don't want to accept the responsibility. If you have children, you can't get mad of having children because you had sex raw. You have to accept the responsibility. If you catch a virus, guess what? You can't sit around blaming. You can't sit around mad because why? You made the decision to have sex raw. And there's some viruses you could still go in strappy and still come out with a virus. Yes, do the research. But when you engage in sexual activity, you take on this risk. You take on that responsibility. So you cannot get mad if you're not doing the research and you're just engaging. This can save your life. This could save your friend's life based on the information. This could save your cousin or sister life or somebody that you know. Know the information. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. A quick shout out to Maria again. We'll see. Let's see. Let you know about that. Okay, cool. Definitely let me know, Maria, about your dad's funeral. Again, I'm gonna try my best to pull up. Again, I would love to know the day, the time. You let me know that it was in the Tampa area. That's not super far from where I'm at, but just like let me know. Let me know in advance. I tell people to let me know in advance, okay? Because that's like an hour and a half from where I'm located. So just like let me know, and I'll try to work on my schedule regarding that. But the sooner the better. The sooner you let me know, the better. Okay? All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Top 100 athletes by rankers are released. Top 100 athletes by rankers are released. I'm not going to do the top 100 because I have the list right here. I'll just tell y'all who they have at the top 10. And there's some notables that's not on this list that lets me know this had to be somebody on their couch that made this list. But rankers is pretty known. But there's no way these two people that is not on the list that I will say after I let y'all know is not on this list. All right, so let's get into it. At number 10, Jesse Owens. At number 9, Mike Tyson. At number 8, LeBron James. At number 7, Roger Federer. At number 6, Babe Ruth. At number 5, Usain Bolt. At number 4, Michael Phelps. Number 3, Lionel Messi. Number 2, Muhammad Ali. And number 1, Michael Jordan. Now, they have some great athletes on this list throughout the top 100, I must say. This top 10, great athletes. Great athletes. And I don't want to talk negatively about any of those top 10 to move up the 2 that should have been on the list. These 2 I'm about to say wasn't even on the list. But they had other top-level athletes on this list. So the 2 guys that's not even on the top 100 according to rankers is Lawrence Taylor. How is Lawrence Taylor not on your list? I'm looking up and down this list and I don't see Lawrence Taylor, LT. There's no way you can have a top 100 in all sports, not football, in all sports, and don't mention Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor should have at least be in the top 10, let alone the 100. I don't think people realize, and this is why I hate time, because after time, when you get older, people really do forget. Lawrence Taylor was 6'3", 245 pounds, running damn near 4.5, 4.4. In order to do the things that he did in the NFL, he was faster than most running backs, just as fast as a lot of those receivers. He's basically a tight end on defense, and size and built. and moving like a freight train. He was running like there wasn't other people on the field. He was moving at a completely different speed. He dominated the NFL. He dominated the NFL. Again, I'm not going to down talk because we just spoke about him. Tom Brady, Bo Jackson, Joe Montana. These are guys that's on this list. I'm not going to down talk Barry Sanders, Jim Thorpe, Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson also played football in college. Who else did I see right off the top that's football players? Jerry Rice, Jim Brown, Peyton Manning. All great players. All are great players. These guys are gold jackets. This means that they sit at the table that everybody else can't sit at. Those players that I just named were offensive players. What do you think their worry level would be if they seen 5'6" on the other side of the field at his best? Imagine these players at their best and LT on the other side at their best. They're going to be a little worried a little bit. They're going to be excited for the challenge because most great players are excited to play other great players. But LT dominated like no other. He's the reason why the left tackle position is even important in the NFL. He's the reason why you need to put a tight end with that left tackle on that side. He's the reason why. He's another reason why your quarterback needs to be able to be a little mobile. Because if he's not, he's a sitting statue. Again, Lawrence Taylor ran like a 4.5, 4.4. Moving like a freight train. And he's not on this list. Dominated the NFL. Won MVP of the league. MVP of the National Football League. And he's not in the top 100 athletes of all time? Bruh. Second player. Coach Prime Deion Sanders. Now, I know, most of y'all know Coach Prime because he's a coach. Smiles all the time. He lives through God. He guides his children in life, navigational system, so that way they'll be better men than him one day. That's the whole goal, right? To pay it forward. When Deion Sanders was playing, he was something unlike anybody you can see. When I was a kid, growing up, not only that his play dictate wins, but his style and swagger on top of that. You could have went to a Little League game, Pop Warner game, high school game, worldwide, at any time when the time Deion Sanders was playing football, and all of us was dressed like him. Like, for real. Wearing the neck wristband, the 3 wristbands on one arm, the 3 wristbands on the other. Then we took it a step further, putting 3 wristbands on our legs. That was all Deion. We wanted to be fly like Deion. We wanted to look good. So when we look good, we feel good. If we feel good, we play good. And if we play good, they pay good. And when you play in Little League, our pay is, a couple little $5, $10, or they send you to the little mystery meat, little place where you get, 2 hot dogs and, 2 glizzies and a soda, $2.50 with a little sauerkraut, mustard and ketchup. That was the pay for Pop Warner football at that time. So I can't imagine what high school was getting at that time. But that's all through his influence. And as a player, he shifts the power of play. His speed, his energy, him seeing the field, him shutting down the whole side of the field was real. And he played in the era where there was real receivers. And I'm not dissing today's receivers because we got some monsters in today's league. But he played against gold jackets, bro. He played against the Jerry Rice, the Michael Irvins, the Chris Carters, the Randy Moss, the Andre Reeds, the Andre Risons, Mark Duper. Like the list goes on and on. James Lofton. Who else was from that time? Fred Barnett, Eric Metcalf. So there's a lot of dogs. Tim Brown, dog. It's a couple guys I'm missing. I know that for a fact, but y'all get the point that I'm making. Sterling Sharp. Oh my God, Sterling Sharp was nice. Not Shannon, Sterling. Shannon is a Hall of Famer. He was nasty. Pause. Meaning like he was a great player. But Sterling Sharp was nice also. And he went up against Giants. And he's not on the top 100 athletes of all time? Crazy work. And he's a champion. Crazy work. That's wild. So, that's my real gripe with rankers and their top 100 list. Again, no LT, no Deion Sanders. The guys they do have on here is great athletes, deserve a recognition. I'm not going to down talk any other athlete to boost them up. But they deserve to be on this list. They both should be in the top 10 athletes of all time. And not make the top 100 is laughable. It's laughable. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Shout out to the African American Day Parade in Harlem. It just happened, the African American Day Parade. Y'all know how I feel about the word African American because that's not what we are. We straight up Americans over here. I know a lot of people understand the difference, but they want us to subscribe to African American so we don't attain our rights and our truthful heritage here in America. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm glad that they had the parade. I just wish we called this something else because, again, that's not what we are. I'm tired of us calling ourselves things that they gave to us. They gave us colored. They gave us black. They gave us African American. No. We have our own thing. We cultured folks. We culture folks because if we call ourselves these things, we won't get our proper recognition in this country. But again, I'm glad they had the parade because it's celebrating something that's so beautiful in us being us, and we're doing it in a celebratory mode. And it went off without a hitch, meaning there wasn't violence happening somewhere. There wasn't a shootout somewhere. We were just having a great time and embracing our culture. Because there's some people in this country that don't believe that Americans, foundational people of culture, that we don't have culture when we are the culture. We drive culture. We dictate culture. So how can we say we don't have culture? So the fact that we have something that was in celebratory mode, celebrating the past, the present, and the future of our greatness and of cultured people, and it's not taken away from anybody else because people love to be like, well, what about us? Y'all get y'all recognition. We getting ours today. I love the fact that we did this, and it was just a beautiful day, beautiful moment, had all types of people, and it was in Harlem. It was in Harlem. Me personally, I would, I'm from Brooklyn, so I want everything to be in Brooklyn, right? But I'm not mad at it being in Harlem because, again, Harlem traditionally is where American cultured people go to start their families or to continue their families because we've been here. We've been here. And I know somebody's going to see this and be like, yeah, but The first human existence was in Africa. Okay. So how do you explain that we have pyramids? This is gonna take a whole nother conversation, but how can you explain that pyramids are just as old in America that it is in Africa, but Africa haven't been called Africa this whole time? Africa's a continent. They changed the name from, I believe it's Albican or Abican was like the original content name, and then they changed it to Africa. So how can we be from a place where that wasn't even the name? How can you explain these pyramids over here? They got pyramids over there, but how can you explain these pyramids over here that are just as old? So who built that? Who built that? Oh, it was just Mother Nature. Oh. So this is carefully built. This is a beautiful nightmare, and that was just carefully built. When they talk about the Nile River in the Bible, you think they're talking about the one in Africa? Do your research. Do your research. But again, I love the fact that they had this day because it celebrates us as a people. And maybe I'm just caught up on the name that they're calling it. But again, I love the fact that we out and about in Harlem, having a good time, being blessed, being celebratory, and just engulfed in all the greatness of cultured people. Love that. Love that. I love that. All right, so moving on to our next hot topic. The U.S. The U.S. is now required TikTok users to download a new app as their algorithm moves under control. Okay, their user data will be controlled by the tech company Oracle. Oracle is going to be the company that's going to be controlling the user data for the new TikTok. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the U.S. now is required TikTok users to download the new app as their algorithm moves under U.S. control. So now we got people from the U.S. on the board of TikTok, and this new app is basically the new TikTok, and they're going to be, they're going to be controlling the data. So what y'all think about that in the chat? I think that's actually it's very interesting because a part of me and how I think, there's no way that they're not going to use their data a part of their higher system because they sell our data, believe it or not. That's why you get robocalls. Somebody or somewhere that you put your information to, they took that information and sold it. That's how that company stays afloat. They sell your information to this company, and they're hoping with robocalls that it will lead and generate some sort of business because it's going to get you to, it's going to spark something within whatever that they're trying to do. That's how that works. Or another part of it is for you to get what they call that, not cyberbully, but like your information taken because cyber, I believe it's I forget the word, cyber security is real big right now. So in order to have cyber security, you need cyber predators. So they're creating a space where cyber predators is going to be on these robocalls. They're going to try to finesse, and you have cyber security. So be very wary of this moving forward. But they sell out information on every app, believe it or not, and people don't realize it. That's why I'm a big proponent in, if you're going to use the app, use it for what's intended to. Create content. If you're not going to create content, be very limited and just be a user as far as watching, but use it at a very limited base, because at the end of the day, you don't want them to get all your information. That's why some people, when they have pages, they rather do like a faceless page or a private page. But by that time in the game, baby, you already gave up your information. You're just making it private for the public. So at the end of the day, be very careful moving forward. TikTok is huge in this country, in the U.S. There's going to be a lot of people that download us, a lot of people that work hard to keep their TikTok pages up and to grow, and they was able to make money and make a real living for themselves through TikTok. So some of those people are really going to try to continue using the app and try to facilitate lifestyle. But I thought this was very interesting because now you have a company like Oracle that's going to be controlling the user data based on this, and they have full reign. They could sell the information. They could use your information, and and honestly, they don't even need your permission to do it. They could just do it because you're on there. Once you're on there, once you make a profile, once you sign up, you gave your right for them to copy your information and do whatever that they want with it. So I think this is very interesting, and I think TikTok probably will be bigger than ever before. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that. Because let's keep it real. They're not using it as a system where they're preventing crime. They're not looking at TikTok and be like, oh, these kids over there, they got some guns over there. We should go over there to get those guns out of that neighborhood because we don't want kids dying unintentionally, from the use of guns or the misuse of guns. So if they're not doing that, then they're keeping tabs on other things. So be very careful on how you use that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Legendary coach Bruce Pearl abruptly resigns from the University of Auburn as their head coach. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, I found this quite interesting because the basketball season is right around the corner. And he quits abruptly. There has to be something in the background that we don't know that really is the cause of this. Because I remember him back in the day coaching other teams, and he was always like a standout as a coach. His teams always did well. He recruits well, and he knows the game of basketball in college, I should say. To be at one of these top tier schools as Auburn, and Auburn has been known to be a football school. Auburn has been a silent powerhouse in basketball. They really have talented kids go there now. Instead of going to the Kentuckys, instead of going to the Louisvilles, they're choosing to go to Auburn. Now you lose him as a coach. What do you do next? Because in basketball, like in football and college, coaching matters. Who you bring in do matter. So it's going to be quite interesting. But the fact that he resigned days before the season is very fishy. Something is, other things that's going on is what led to that. I don't believe that was like just burnout or straight basketball. His team had a good season last year. They had a good season the year before that, and they got a good team this year. So I don't see why would he walk away from this job outside of something that he doesn't want to get out. Maybe the school know. Obviously, the school know, or the president of the school or the athletic director knows about him, or whatever the case may be. There's a situation that's super uncomfortable that they're getting ahead of now because, a coach of this magnitude just does not up and resign days away from the season. Now, it wouldn't have been noticeable if he would have resigned after the season, whether they had a good season or not. But right before the season, this right here is very fishy, and I don't know. I'm kind of figuring there has to be more layers to this altogether. Me personally. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Oh, shout out to Ebony in the build. Appreciate you tapping in. This needs to be a bigger This needs to be a bigger event. Bigger event. Are you talking about the African American parade? Okay. Well, TikTok, it's been fun. Okay, get rid of TikTok. Okay, Ebony Fire. I heard he said racist things about black people. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. If that's true, then okay, I see why. Then I see. Then that explains it in itself. But I'm still gonna be doing more research regarding this because this is quite interesting in itself. All right, moving on to our next hot topic. A 13-year-old boy was shot in the head at Dunkin' Donuts on his way to school. Uh, he's on life support right now only because they wanted his family wanted to donate his organs, but he's technically gone. They pronounced him gone, but they only keeping him on life support to preserve his organs. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. His name is, I hope I'm saying this right, Shanae Griffin. I hope I said that right, Shanae Griffin. And again, he was killed or he was shot in the head at Dunkin' Donuts, and he was fighting for his life. He'd been fighting for his life, up until recently. And, the doctor is just pretty much saying he's gone and, let the family know. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Killer is still at large. This story in itself is utterly sad. It's utterly sad. 12 years old. 12 years old. What can a 12-year-old kid do that garners that type of reaction, that type of disdain, where you want to unalive him, shoot him, and now he's gone? What can he have done to deserve something like that? Even if at 12-year-old kids, they do have fights, they do talk their crap, but they do it to each other. But do that warrant you to go get a gun and unalive him? I can understand fights because boys fight, kids fight, men fight. And you notice I said it in different realms. We're going to fight. But to intentionally unalive him, the kid rode up on a bike and unalived him right outside of Dunkin' Donuts on his way to school. What do that teach our kids moving forward? We say this thing about staying safe. When staying safe is not being safe. It's like we have to teach them a grown man's ideology. Stay dangerous. Because that's the only way you're going to come home. And what type of energy will that breed if we teach all our young brothers, sons, nephews to stay dangerous? If we're telling them this at 11, 12 years old, can you imagine what type of men that they would be? Can you imagine what type of men that they would be in mindset on what they teach to the generation after them? Can you imagine? No compassion, no empathy, no way of real resolution. What are we teaching our young people when things like this happen? What are we teaching? Like I'm conflicted even with the message that kid that unalived him received, that he thought that was an option. Because whatever discourse they had, that was a rationale in his brain where he's going to go get something, get a gun to go unalive this kid that's 13 years old. I don't believe that this was a grown man that did this. It's had to be somebody his age, because again, I don't see a grown man being so mad at that a 13-year-old kid that he's going to go unalive him. It has to be somebody his own age, especially if they haven't caught him yet, especially if he's still out there. There's going to be another kid his age, and they said the kid rolled up on a bicycle. So what are we teaching? Like, we also don't want to teach turn the cheek. We also don't want to teach, be afraid and not be ready, and be aware of your surroundings. We don't not want to teach that. We want to teach be ready, be survival, always be on survival mode. Be cautious of your surroundings. Learn how to move, know how to move. This is what you do and This is what you're not supposed to do. So these conversations that we having way too early in our communities, what do you think is teaching? And already that the algorithm, social media is playing a part, because we see on social media every day with kids, they say things like, yo, you can't come over here in my neighborhood after 11 o'clock. If you come over here, it gets dangerous over here. And then another kid see that, he like, no, if you'll come to mine, by 9 o'clock, if you're not out of here by 9 o'clock, my neighborhood get dangerous. There's gonna be another kid see that. My neighborhood dangerous all day, 24 hours. We get crazy over here. And carrying that ideology and that self-hate and that backwards love, because we only do it to each other. We only do it in our communities. And what do it continue to teach? Not just the kids that are doing it, but the kids that's coming after them. So we have to hold people accountable that's in places that could speak on this. That's why I'm speaking on this, because this is not cool. We need to go back, and when you really have a dispute with somebody, if it's unavoidable, it's like, yo, I need to get this off my chest. You need to have boxing gloves and get that frustration out, because most times when men fight, regardless of who win or lose, it's over. It's over. They give it all they got for however long they got, pause, and then it's over. And then the next time they see each other, it's not going to be as much tension. It's like, yeah, I fought that dude, or I won, or I lost, or whatever the case may be. You just got it off. You got your, some guys be like, I got my hit in. I just want to get my hit in. I just need to get my frustration off. Now he understands that even if he wins, I'm not no punk. Even if he wins, I'm not no easy one. Even if he wins, he understands I'm willing to go to the next level with my fists. Not dealing with gunplay, not dealing with murder, because you know what? Murder is irreversible. Can't bring that person back. Can't get a chance to make money with this person. Can't tell his mama sorry. You unalive somebody, there's no way you could tell his mother sorry. No way. I know some people have done it. I know some people that have done it. There's no way for that mother to really like, and for some mothers who actually been in that situation, I had a close friend, and his mother been in that situation, and she said the only way I could get through this is by forgiveness. I hear all that. I hear all that. I hear all that. I hear it. I hear it. And maybe that's true for her. No disrespect. I say that with all due respect. I say that with all due respect. But at the end of the day, it just teaches more violence. It brings on more violence. Because the people that love that kid, it's going to be on the lookout, unfortunately. Friends that care for that kid, they're going to be on the lookout. So at the end of the day, it's only perpetuating more violence. And again, shout out to, I hope I'm saying his name right, Shanti Griffith. Shanti Griffith. Rest in peace. This is the young man, again, 13-year-old kid that was unalived, shot on his way to school outside of Dunkin' Donuts. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy was fired. He's probably the longest standing coach ever in Oklahoma State history. He's a former quarterback there. He had some success while he was there. He won 170 games as the Oklahoma State head coach. Lost 90, so he's 170 to 90. His overall record. He's led Oklahoma State to 12 bowl wins, which is very commendable and quite a lot. Very that's something to be said for. And they won one conference title. They've had a rough season last year. It was very rough. And they had some guys on their team last year that was preseason All-American, and they were slated to have a big year last year. Very big disappointment. This year, starting off the season, was just as bad. Just as bad. It doesn't even feel competitive. And I remember Oklahoma State being a team that you really had to buckle it up. You was going to be in for it. Even if Oklahoma State didn't beat you, they was going to take you to the brink. Oklahoma State is known for putting up a whole lot of points traditionally. But as of last year and the beginning of this year, it just didn't look right. But the only thing I'm like confused on is how can this man been fired when he went 170 and 90? You won a lot of games, bro. You gave Oklahoma State a lot of winning seasons. He gave you one bad season. Going on to his second, I don't care if he gave you 4 bad seasons in a row. Do that cause for a fire after he done won you 170 games? 12 bowl wins? You don't give him no chance to right the ship or build back up the program? Like, I don't understand like this quick fire method in coaching. It's like, yo, we have a bad year, they get rid of you. Get rid of you. The NFL is even worse. But I just don't understand this quick coaching method. And we live in a time where coaches need time to cook. You need time to build your program. We're living in the era of the NIL deal in college football. Now colleges also going to pay the players. The NIL wasn't a direct pay from college. The NIL was something completely different. So you have the NIL and you have money coming from the college. So now at the end of the day, he doesn't even get a chance to build back the program that he basically built. He's the most winningest coach ever at Oklahoma State, and he doesn't get a couple of years to be like, all right, I know we done had a rough couple. All right, let's do this. We're gonna foundation this thing out. He don't get a chance to build it back up, which is crazy. So this new state and era that we in with college football and firing coaches, like they got rid of the coach from UCLA. We spoke about that last episode. He only coached 15 games. They got rid of the man in 15 games. How do you properly assess a coach if you fire the man in 15 games? Do y'all know how much 15 games is in a college season? That's basically one season. You play 12 games a year. If you go to a bowl game, that's 13 games. If you go to the conference final of that year, that's 14 games. If you go play in a playoff, one playoff game, that's 15 games. They fired this man in 15 games. How do he get a chance to build a program? At UCLA, might I add. So, and we spoke about that last episode. So it's just quite interesting that you're having this type of energy in college football where as if you lose, you get the hook. It'd be like, yeah, bro, I had one bad year. Yeah, now you out. So it's quite interesting. Shout out to old personal trainer. What have you done for me lately? I feel that, right? I feel that. See, the what have you done for me lately would be suitable if he had 4 winning seasons. He had 4 winning seasons, and now he's having 2, 3 bad seasons in a row. Then it's like, yo, bro, I hear you, but you only gave us 4 good seasons. This man gave you 12 bowl wins. He gave you 170 wins. 170. He can't give you 3 bad seasons. Like, let's be for real. Like, Oklahoma State, even when Oklahoma State was winning, when was the last time a player chose Oklahoma State because of their coach? They chose Oklahoma State over Alabama, over Ohio, over Michigan. You haven't seen that, right? So Oklahoma State is the place where good kids go. Like, they're good, but if you give them some real coaching, some real development, they could be outstanding players. Because the history of Oklahoma, they produce some of the best receivers, the best running backs that we've ever seen play. So, got to give this man a chance to cook. But, you know, old personal trainer, what have you done for me lately is the model of college football. So, you're not wrong regarding that. You're not wrong. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. College football picks is in. College football picks is in for week 4. Last week, I went 12-0. I won all 6 games for college football, all 6 games for the NFL. I really pay attention to these games. I grew up boxing, playing football, and playing basketball. I even played a little college football. So I know what I'm talking about. So make sure y'all tap into these games. These are going to be great games, might I add. And these games don't be easy. College football games, if you have ever watched a college football game, is never easy to call because you have young kids who are overly excited. They could be up 28-0, come back out and lose by 3 points. So at the end of the day, when you see like college football is one of the hardest things that you could ever call, like ever at the end of the day. So the fact that I got them all right last week, that says a lot about my football acumen. All right, so for this week, college football picks. I don't have a theme for this week, but it's going to be a great week of college football. So the first game I'm calling, number 16, GT, Georgia Tech versus Wake Forest, is going to be a good game. Wake Forest has a really good quarterback with a little development. That could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But I have to go with number 18. I with number 16, Georgia Tech for this game. Have to go with Georgia Tech. My number 2 game that I'm calling, 24, TCU going to Arizona State, which is going to be another great game. TCU is exciting. They're a great team to watch. They play a physical brand of football, both sides of the ball, and they look scary good last week. But Arizona State is battle tested. Even though they're unranked, they're battle tested. They have one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Battle tested. And Arizona State played a hell of a game last week. They squilled it out by 3 points, but these are battle-tested games. They've been playing great quality football and great teams. So I'm going with Arizona State for the upset, and they're playing at home. My next game I'm calling number 21 USC versus number 23 Illinois. Another great game. The Big Ten is the best conference in college football. I'm not going to argue with anybody about that. I'm not going to argue anybody about that. Each game is huge, has playoff implications. If USC wins this game, they head and shoulders looking to go to the playoffs, and vice versa for Illinois. They have to bounce back from the last week's loss that they had from Indiana. But I'm going with USC for this game. I'm going with USC. USC just looks so physical. Southern California, they look so physical and they look sharp, and they haven't looked this good in a long time, in my opinion. So I'm going with USC. I think Illinois is still going to be a little down from last week's loss because they was embarrassed last week. They was upset and in a big way. So I'm going with USC. I think they still haven't bounced back from that mindset. Next game I'm calling is 21. Next game I'm calling is number 4 LSU versus number 13 Ole Miss. LSU going to Ole Miss. This is a recipe for an upset. Everything in my bones is screaming upset for this game. But I have to go with LSU for this game. Anytime you have a veteran quarterback going into a hostile environment, an environment that he's used to playing in big games, that matters. I'm not a fan of Chip Kelly. I'm not a fan. Now, I don't think that's Chip Kelly. That's Brian Kelly. I'm not a fan of Brian Kelly. But he's played in a lot of big games. And I think this is a game that if they win, this propels them head and shoulders to the college football playoffs, at least being in front runner. And this will be a part of their resume. So this will matter of them winning this game. Next game I'm calling number 6, Oregon going to number 3, Penn State. Every bone in my body is telling me Oregon is going to win this game. Because these are the type of games that off the bat, you like, yeah, Penn State is just way too physical for Oregon. Just way too physical. When Oregon joined the Big Ten, it was like, I don't know if Oregon going to survive because the Big Ten is physical. And they've been putting belt to ass to a lot of teams. But this year, I believe Penn State is just the more physical team in every sense of every level of the game. They're just more physical. I'm not crazy about Drew Allen as a quarterback. I think he's overrated in my opinion, but he's going to do enough of them to win, and I got Penn State winning this game. I'm also calling number 17 Alabama versus number 5 Georgia. This is going to be an outstanding game. Georgia is going to be outstanding, but recipe for an upset. It's a if Georgia don't beat Alabama early, Alabama will win this game. Alabama receiving tandem is outstanding. They probably have one of the top 3 quarterbacks in all college football in Ty Simpson. Ever since I seen him play against Florida State and the game that they lost, he just stood out to me. And I see NFL written all over him. I think he's an NFL ready quarterback. And he's a quarterback nobody even talked about coming into this year. All the quarterbacks we talked about coming into this year look like hot garbage. He wasn't somebody we talked about at all, and he stands out. And I think Alabama goes to Georgia, upsets Georgia at Georgia. So again, I got Georgia Tech beating Wake Forest. I got TCU beating Arizona State. I got USC beating Illinois in an upset. Well, that might not be an upset. I think that one is even. I got LSU beating Ole Miss at Ole Miss. I have Penn State beating Oregon in the upset. I have no, that's not an upset. That's also Penn State is at home, and I have number 17 Alabama in an upset beating number 5 Georgia. So that's my pick 6 for this week college football. Again, last week I was 6-0, so I'm just saying. All right, so my pick 6 for the NFL this week. Last week, 6-0. I'm telling y'all something, you know what I'm saying? 6-0 last week. This week, these are my pick 6 for this week's NFL game. First game, I'm calling Eagles going to the Buccaneers. Going to be an outstanding game. This is going to be a fourth quarter game. I'm going with the Buccaneers in this game. The Eagles are very beatable. They're very beatable. But at any point in time, they could turn up. But they're very beatable. And I think the Buccaneers is just the team to do that because they play a balanced brand of football. And the Eagles struggle against teams that could do both, run and pass. And they have a great defense on top of that. They have a real solid defense on the Buccaneers. And they're up front can go against the Eagles up front of their offensive line. So it's going to be a great game. So I'm going with the Buccaneers from that game. Second game, I'm calling Colts versus the Rams. I can easily go with the Colts because they're undefeated, but I'm going with the Rams. I think Rams losing the way they lost last week to the Eagles, they need to bounce back. They need this game. And this is the game I'm going to go with. I'm going with the Rams over the Colts. Next game, I'm calling Browns versus the Lions. Lions is going to continue on a roll. They're going to continue to roll. Last week, nobody was expecting the Browns to win the way that they won. The Lions need this game. They had an outstanding game last week. They want to continue to strain. The Browns is actually a decent team because of that defense is so great. I don't think their offense is going to do anything until they put 12 in. I stand on that. I stand on that. When they put 12 in is when you're going to see their offense take an uptick. But he's not, so I'm going with the Lions for this one. Next game, I'm calling Bills versus the Saints. I'm going with the Bills for that game. This is an easy trap game. This is an easy game where the Bills don't get up for and the Saints actually beat the Bills. But I don't think it's going to happen because the Bills need these type of games to win so that way they sit in first place. And if they could get that first place in the West, that's going to put them head and shoulders in front of above a lot of other teams. And it's going to put them in an ample spot to really make a playoff run. And they need this game. So I'm going with the Bills for this game. Next game, I'm calling Chargers going to the Giants. They're making a change at quarterback with Jackson Dart. I think that's kind of early. I don't think Russell warrant a bench as of right now. I don't think he's the problem. I know there's some plays that he could have been better at, but that offensive line could have been better. The play calling could have been better. But I think Russell Wilson is the perfect scapegoat because his stint in Pittsburgh, his stint in with the Broncos wasn't uh, a harmonious getaway in his time there. So he's an easy scapegoat where it's like, okay, you was just only here for real, just to get us over from one point to the next. So I think he's getting a raw deal, but Jackson Dart is going to play. Jackson Dart played well in the preseason. Is he going to play well during the season? Who knows? Is Brian Dable going to ruin another quarterback? Because you see Daniel Jones. I wasn't high on Daniel Jones ever, but he's balling out with the Colts. He's balling out with the Colts. So Russell Wilson had a decent year with the Steelers once he was allowed the ability to cook and you call plays to his liking and to his skill set. Like any other quarterback, you have to call plays according to their skill set. Allow him to cook. Perfect scapegoat. So putting in Jackson Dart, it has to work. It has to work. If Jackson Dart struggles, there's going to be no more Dayball. No more Dayball. He's going to be gone. Because now you had 3 quarterbacks that you wanted. You picked all these quarterbacks. You wanted to work. You took the job at the Giants because you wanted to work with Daniel Jones. You felt like he could do what Josh Allen could do on the Bills, so you wanted to work with him. So you got him, and so again, if this don't work with Dart, Dayball was counting his days. But I'm going with the Chargers for this game. The Chargers need that game as well. They're going to try to stay with the Bills in record. And the Chargers is a really good team. They're a really good team. And I don't know his record against rookie quarterbacks, but I'm pretty sure that, oh my God, the Chargers coach, he was our coach on Michigan last year. Oh my goodness. This is Harbaugh. There you go. Jim Harbaugh. His record is very successful against rookie starting quarterbacks. So I'm going with the Chargers. And my last game I'm calling Vikings versus the Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers. I think the Vikings played uberly well last week. They lit it up last week. They put up 48 points. But they playing at the Steelers. The Steelers is also playing pretty good. And they're coming along every week. Both teams, Steelers and Vikings, is getting better week by week. Week by week. But this is the perfect game for the Steelers to win by 3 points at the end of the game. So I got the Steelers. So again, for this week, I have the Bucks beating the Eagles. I have the Rams beating the Colts. I have the Lions beating the Browns. I have the Bills beating the Saints. I have the Chargers beating the Giants. And I have the Steelers beating the Vikings. That is my pick 6 for NFL. So my pick 6 for college football and my pick 6 for the NFL for this week, week 4. So make sure y'all tune in, tap in. Again, last week I went 12-0, 6-0 for college, and 6-0 for the NFL. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Alive segment. My Keep the Lie Alive for this episode is be thankful for dodging bullets. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, your life, you're like, oh, you dodging bullets, for your life and all this stuff. No, I'm talking about dodging bullets as far as people. You have people out here that is just so terrible in a sense where they're really trying to mentally unalive you. You ever really be in a relationship with somebody that you love, like you love them, and y'all argue and you still love them, and y'all argue some more, and the closer y'all get because in your mind, you feel like these are just growing pains of the relationship. When you finally break up with that person or they break up with you or whatever the case may be, and you get away from them for a while, and you see the results in their life, and you see that Unfortunately, things didn't pan out the way they wanted to pan out for themselves. And you see the type of negativity and the energy that brings. That's a bullet that should be thanked that you dodged, because those type of people with that type of energy will bring you down, give you that type of energy. You ever be around somebody and you can feel that negative energy? It's like a stink, like it's like a funk that they carry. And because they around you and you allow their energy to fester you, because mind you, you got to take accountability for allowing energy to invade your space. But it changes who you are as a person. It changes how you handle things. It changes how you deal with things. It even builds some sort of anxiety, and it can also build resentment. And then you start seeing results when you get away from the person and you start doing the things that was a calling to your life. When you start doing the things that you was already aligned with or need to be aligned with for you to make the growth that you need to make in your life. So if you had some sort of growth since that person and you've seen advancement in your life in one way or the other, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, you got better in shape and exercise right, and you live right, and what you put in your body, it's a complete different mindset that you have moving forward, where you start seeing life completely different. Now you start seeing life as the glass half full and not half empty. And then again, when you see the results of these people, unfortunately, you can still see that funk on them. You can still see that anxiety on them. You can still see that they don't have no belief in self. You can still see that they don't have control over their life, where they have to do things they don't want to do, where you live in your life where everything that you do is by design. So dodging bullets is something to be grateful for and thankful for. So at the end of the day, be thankful for dodging bullets from people, because they send them to you. Even growing up in New York City, and some people, this could be, this don't have to be New York City based, but New York City, we coined the phrase friend to me. And friend to me is basically somebody that's supposed to be a friend, but acts like you're a damn enemy. Anytime you tell them something negative about you, like, yo, I went through this, I went through that, they sitting over there cheesing like, oh, for real. They laughing like, yo, for real, you would do that? Yo, that's crazy. But anytime you tell them something positive, that you advanced in, that you got something going for yourself, some motion that you created for yourself, they never happy for you. They're like, oh, how that working out for you? Oh, okay. Really? Oh, all right. It seemed like they swallowed something sour, right? Because it carries that negative energy. They don't want to see you doing better than them. But it's not at the end of the day about who's doing better as far as a race. You just running your own race. So at the end of the day, be grateful for dodging bullets from people and of people. That's my Keep the Lie Alive for this episode. I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Y'all been amazing. As always, every Wednesday, every Sunday. I know I came on a little late tonight, but again, I thank those who continue to rock out, have a great time with me, and show major, major love throughout the whole episode. Again, we're on every Wednesday, every Sunday at 10:30. At 10:30. So make sure y'all continue to tune and tap in, show support. Again, hit them likes, hit them likes, hit them likes, hit them hundreds, hit them 100s, hit them 100s. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that all notification bell, because I do pop up throughout the whole week. I have over 500 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel, so make sure you tune and tap in. Also, we have memberships. Make sure you tap into the membership portion of the page. Different memberships do get granted different access, so make sure you take advantage of the membership portion of the page as well. Also, I want to thank the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, the hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP, Winners Loyalty, up on all music platforms right now. Again, if you haven't heard it, just type in Ashley Lovechild on wherever you listen to your music at. Type it up. It'll pop up Winners Loyalty, my new EP, especially for them hip-hop fans. 6 songs of fire, so make sure y'all tune and tap in for the ones who haven't as of yet. I want to thank Button Snaps and OUV Records again for being our sponsors. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, you can hit me up on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. Or if you just want to show some love, crack some jokes, we have a good time on Instagram as well. I'm going to see y'all this Sunday, man. It's going to be another great one. We're going to have it nice and popping. Episode 200 is coming up rapidly. This is episode 197. Again, continue to send in some ideas for the 200th episode in celebration, because it's a lot of episodes. And I've been very, very consistent this whole time. So, again, I can't wait to celebrate. And I got some special announcements on the 200th episode. So, again, I want to thank y'all. My hat is saluted to y'all. Again, OUV Records, OUV Records, OUV Records. Make sure y'all tap in. And y'all already know, man, it's love. I'm going to see y'all this Sunday at 10:30. We out.